So today I want to be very specific and I want to focus in on things that I received from the Step Up for Students scholarship, both the PEP and the UA. As a side note, if you do have the PEP scholarship, you are going to receive a lot of things, but if you have the UA, you can receive everything that the PEP scholarship does allow you to get, plus some extra things. So I am really going to focus on the PEP stuff. If I do mention some UA stuff, I am going to be very specific and say I got this with the UA and I know you can't get this with the PEP. So I'm going to show you all the things. I've been getting this scholarship for 5+ years. I am a former public and private school teacher. I've been homeschooling 13 years. I am also an approved choice navigator for the Step Up for Students program. I have this wonderful handy dandy purchasing guide for the 2025-26 school year. It's updated, a little changes here and there, but you know, it's all in here, and I'm gonna walk you through all the things as much as I can. One thing that you might want to know though is I do have timestamps down in the description box below, so if you need to look for something specific, they're in there. I'll also put some links in there, and if you are looking for a choice navigator, I'm gonna put my information down there as well. So grab a cup of coffee. You can't get coffee with the scholarship, even though you could argue that it's educational if you wanted to, but you can't. So I'm gonna take a sip and I'm gonna put it down and let's go. So the first thing on the list, it talks about at-home classroom furniture. There's a lot of stuff on the My Scholar Shop that you can actually purchase online, but you can always do a reimbursements. I do love the My Scholar Shop, I'll be honest, because you don't have to worry about the reimbursements, and to be honest, the reimbursements gets really super annoying. The good thing I will mention is if you do the reimbursements and you use a credit card, you can get some of those credit card cashback kind of things and points, travel points, if you work it right. But anyway, we did purchase this on the My Scholar Shop. It's a chair. We didn't get the table. This is from IKEA, but I'm sure you could do that with the reimbursements. We also have a really pretty pink chair back here for my daughter. Love it. And then these are shelves back here. This is actually a table that we also purchased. I love this table. It's small, it's perfect. It fits her laptop, which you can get with the UA. You can't get it with the PEP as of right now, but I know they're working on that. Another thing that I thought was interesting is globes are mentioned in the furniture section. I thought they were more like history supplies or social studies supplies, but you know, either way you can get globes, okay? These are shelves. I bought them off of the My Scholar Shop, and then I was able to put a bunch of stuff in here. Side note, these are bins too that I bought. I bought these on Amazon and then I got reimbursed, and I love those bins. They're more for classroom organizational type things. There is also mention of a whiteboard. I got this whiteboard, by the way. I didn't get it off of any Scholar Shop stuff or even Amazon. I bought this at a discount, giveaway, closeout, whatever. I got it for 10 bucks. It was a deal. It's amazing. So I don't have any links, I'm sorry, but you can get a whiteboard. It's on there, and I also have little whiteboards too as well. Okay, the next section is books. Textbooks, anything that's like a book, you can get a book, we know that. Some on My Scholar Shop, some not. You can also get digital materials as well. And one of my favorite digital materials that we received is something called Everand. Now, a lot of people, when they do audiobooks, they go to Amazon. That's one that people, and you can use Amazon. You could do Amazon audiobooks, but I love Everand, and one reason I love it is because you can select, like you get the subscription, you select the books, and you can start listening to them, and if you don't like it after like 3 or 4 chapters, you just like get rid of it, and you didn't waste any money or any credits or anything like that. There are some books, you can get an extra subscription, so you can get the newer books. Anyway, I love Everand. There's a link in the description box below. The next section is going to be educational software and subscriptions. You know, of course, magazine subscriptions, Answers in Genesis is always great. There's a lot of them that are also online. Microsoft Word, Microsoft Office, Microsoft Excel. You can get all of those as a subscription to that. And some people get Canva if their child is learning, mostly teens, middle school, learning Canva, learning how to do digital kind of things, digital art, Photoshop, so many different things that you can get a subscription to or purchase. Then there's the educational subscription kits. My favorite one, hands down, has been Crunch Labs. We've loved that one. And we've also done Kiwi crates. There are a lot of subscription boxes that you can actually go into my Scholar Shop, find them, and order them through that. Now, a little thing, a little pointer, because we made this mistake with the subscription box. If you currently have a subscription box, and this happened with a couple, well, I'll name one in specific, Kiwi. We had a subscription to Kiwi crates. And then I wanted to switch over and order through my Scholar Shop after we had that subscription for like 2 years. They restarted everything with Kiwi crates, like from the beginning. So we were getting duplicates for a while, and I really had a hard time with them switching it over. So my suggestion is, if you start the subscription from scratch, do the My Scholar Shop. If you have a current subscription with Kiwi crates, or actually any of these subscription boxes, just do the reimbursement so it doesn't mess up the order of the subscription box. Just a little pointer, found out the hard way. It was frustrating, it really was. I'll be honest. Another one we got that we loved was this art box for kids thing. It went through the history of art. I hope I can find a link and put it down in the description box below, but there's so many art history boxes, art boxes out there, craft boxes. The scholarship covers it. Electives, you know, this is a fun one because it includes things like animal husbandry lessons, art lessons, scouts, 4-H club, drama lessons, cooking lessons, baking lessons, and then of course with all of these things, you can also get the supplies, which is amazing because my daughter, she didn't take baking lessons, but she was learning how to bake, right? And we have a book that we've been kind of following, a really good book. We had to buy baking pans, and I don't have those, and I have no need. I don't need baking pan, like, so not like baking pans, but like cake pans. I don't cook, okay? Like, I'll just be honest, I don't like it. We bought it, and the scholarship covered it. So there's that. Mechanical lessons. My son took a class in car mechanics. We also got a toolkit for him, which was amazing. And sewing lessons, camera, videography, and we also got a camera for my son, like a camera. There's a whole list of it. I mean, you've got sewing, thread, needle, bobbin, sewing machines, because you can get the machines. You can get, gardening, that's another thing. There is this, it's like a bunch of grow boxes that you can get, and the scholarship will reimburse you for those things. You can actually find some of these on my Scholar Shop as well. Oh, the one tricky one that I do want to pay very special attention to, because this one I am so excited that we got. It's the Homeschool Spanish Academy. I love it because it's covering Spanish lessons for my son. And if you're in the state of Florida, you know it's really tricky with foreign languages. And anyway, the point is that it's an accredited institution. It's in Guatemala. It's certified. It has all the credentials. And I had to get all the credentials to turn everything into Step Up for Students in order for them to approve it, including making sure that my son was learning from one specific teacher. With that one specific teacher, I had to get his credentials. I had to get dates on the receipt. I had to get credit card numbers, payment information. Just, you need to make sure that you go through the handbook and find out exactly what they need from you in order to reimburse you. One of the things that I got a lot of people reaching out to me, because I made a video about Homeschool Spanish Academy and how I love it. I was so excited that we were able to get, reimbursed. And we've done the reimbursement 3 times successfully. One of the things that they were struggling with is a lot of them were putting these foreign language lessons underneath tutoring. And it is not a private tutor by definition of Step Up for Students. What it actually is foreign language lessons underneath the topic of electives. It's very interesting because if you are in the state of Florida, you know that when you're doing transcripts for high school, for colleges, that foreign language is not an elective, it's a core class, and the GPA is added in there as a core class. It's very confusing. Languages are very confusing when you're taking them. A lot of people like to do the languages dual enrollment. I think that's a very, very wise decision. And but there's a lot, you could do a credit. Anyway, the point is, it's under electives, it's under foreign language lessons, and you just have to have all the information. Even if your child is taking foreign language lessons from another group, there's so many groups online. There's even a Hebrew one that I heard of. I'll put a link to that one too if you're interested in learning Hebrew. All right, moving on. Let's talk about these field trips. And this is one that is talked a lot about within all these Facebook groups. Okay, this was a huge one. They will give you up to $299 reimbursement for any theme parks. They added Epic Universe, by the way, this year to the list. That includes Disney, all the Disney theme parks. And if you're a Floridian, I mean, that's like super exciting. Disney's totally educational. And if you've never been to Disney before, this is a great opportunity to take advantage of this. But yeah, you can get the season passes, you can get tickets. Now, on top of because we were already talking about Disney, that's really exciting. Busch Gardens, Disney, all the things. I got zoo passes this year, by the way, as a side note. There are other things that you can do for field trips, but it has to be within the state. If you want to go somewhere outside of the state to a national park, for example, or the Ark Museum, which I learned the hard way with that one, because they do not cover that if you just turn in the receipts. That's something that you need to go send in a pre-approval for. And they may or may not approve it. Okay, just kind of keep that in mind. I haven't gone through that process myself personally with field trips, but just keep that in mind. The field trips that they talk about are in the state of Florida. Now, I am going to be turning in my field trip with my daughter that we will be taking, where we will be zip lining over, I think, the only canyon in the state of Florida. And for me, that's like super educational because, you know, we don't see canyons in Florida. Like, we're flat. That's, you know, I did send in the receipts. I'm waiting for the reimbursement. The other thing that they cover is single admission leisure events such as rollerblading, ice skating, bowling, and trampoline parks, including equipment rentals. And that has to be all under $75. That's another thing to keep in mind. We actually just went bowling. I didn't save the receipts, and now I'm like, I should have done that. And of course, if you do get the purchasing guide, they have this lovely little list right here at the bottom. I know, that's totally crazy. It blows my mind, but I do know for a fact Disney is very educational. When I first started doing this channel, I made like a whole series of us. I mean, we did this is pre-pandemic, where we did a whole series of us at Disney. I think I silenced a lot of those because I wanted to keep those as more personal memories, but or privatized them. But I will say, if you're really wanting to dig in there and see the videos of how I made it educational at Disney, I do have some up on Rumble. I do have a Rumble channel. Moving on, lab fees and materials. Now here's the kicker. You know, first of all, when it comes to lab fees and science, there's a lot that we can get. Okay, but the one thing that I found out the hard way is things that are food grade. They will not reimburse you for food grade things. You want to do vinegar with baking soda? They're not going to reimburse you for that because it's food. You want to do experiments with M&Ms? Not going to reimburse you. You know that fun milk experiment where you have like the milk and you drop in the different colors and then you put the soap in? They're not going to cover you for the milk. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're doing lab equipment. Sometimes you can kind of get around that if you can find a science kit that has some of those things inside of it. Also, learning manipulatives, creative play. I mean, that includes Legos. Okay, like, and those really big Lego sets you can get reimbursed for. Like the ones that are like $700, $800. Puzzles, of course. They even, on my scholarship, if you go digging, you will find that they have stuffed animals on there. They have these really cool, like, sensory stuffed animals that we got. My daughter has this turtle one, and it smells like lavender, and you can warm it up, and you can put it in your lap. They also have these things, which I'm kind of obsessed with. I haven't purchased them yet, but Homeschool Hive had them. I think they went out of stock, like, pretty quickly. But they're called microbes, okay? I didn't buy it with a scholarship, but I did get them when I was a public school teacher, and I had this, I don't know, to get the kids' attention, things you do to get kids' attention, is I have this one, it's like little tiny and it's a cold germ. And I would, hey, don't catch my cold, or hey, catch my cold. I would just, to get their attention, I would throw it around the room just to be like, yo, wake up, I'm teaching here. Stop talking to your friend and catch the cold. It was funny to me and to the middle schoolers at that time. Marbles, dominoes, games. I buy so many games. So many games. Let me, I'm here trying to show you stuff. So let me just show you all the games that I have bought with this scholarship. Okay, so these are games. Like, these are all games from Lakeshore Learning. Coming down here, a lot of these I've bought off of Amazon, but all of these were covered. This is from Not Consumed Ministries right here, but you can see I have even more games. Okay, I keep going. I have more stuff down here, and all of these games too. I also bought these. This is Lakeshore Learning. These are X-rays. I bought this as well too. That was exciting. And I also bought this telescope. The scholarship covered my telescope. Actually, it's my son's baby because it's really for him. Okay, more games up here. All this up here. Oh, really quick. Okay, cool. I have this microscope. This is a microscope. Do you see that? I think you can see that. It's a microscope, and I bought it with a scholarship. It is a digital microscope. This is a responsibility chart that I bought for my daughter. We haven't used it as much as I want to, and that's one thing that's really nice about the scholarship is that you could purchase things, and if you don't use them, you don't feel guilty. It's not always a good thing, too. Because you didn't spend money on the item that was your personal money, you're not motivated to use it as much as if you did buy it with your money. You see what I'm saying? Okay, another thing that we did get with electives, music lessons. So I have a child playing cello, guitar, bass, and piano lessons. Of course, all the books are covered, but also the actual instruments are covered. And rental fees. So if you don't buy the instrument, you can actually get the rental fee paid for. It was wonderful. Cellos are expensive, so are keyboards. And guitars, not so much, they're expensive, but it was covered. They do give you 2 years between when you purchase, the bass guitar, and then you have to wait 2 years to get it again. But if something happens where you have to replace it, you can fill out a form and have to do the pre-approval, and they will accept it. I've never done it before, but I heard you can do that. So look into it, call them if that's the case. The other thing that's really nice with some of these lessons, they are actually direct providers. So all of the music lessons that my kids take, I don't have to pay and do the reimbursement forms. I just go on to my providers, find it, boom, 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 click, 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 done. It literally takes me 5 minutes to pay them, and I don't have to spend my own money. Physical education and PE, and that includes dance lessons and gymnastics. That also includes the supplies. So if you have to get footwear, we have my kids in track and field and cross country, and we had to get track shoes. The scholarship covered the track shoes. Also covered the little spikes that you put in the track shoes. I also am in the process of trying to get their running shoes for cross country covered. I don't know if it's gonna work or not. We'll find out. I'm gonna try. I always say try, okay? Always try. Always try to turn things in. But make sure you put it in the right category. We also do archery, so their bow and arrow were also covered. I also love the fact that you can get bikes. Now here, my friend, I didn't purchase this, but she got a really, really expensive bike for her son that has a disability, and it was it was really expensive. She said it was like $750 or something like that for the specialized bike that was tailored to him, and they reimbursed her everything. It was wonderful. You can also get a swing set. So this is another thing that's really cool is my friend who was able to get a swing set in her backyard for her son, and he's older and he is on the spectrum and he's rough when he swings. So she had to find a specialized swing set that has literally the legs were like this thick, and they were buried in the ground with concrete, doesn't budge. That way he can actually swing without her having to worry whether or not he's gonna tilt over the entire swing set. Having things that are specialized like that, I know that's more UA specific, but sometimes with PEP you can find those specialized things and you can get approval with them because swing sets are on there. Boogie boards are on there. Okay, that to me is cool. Because we all live in Florida. But go to the beach with your boogie board, canoes, kayaks, skimboarding, stand-up paddle boards. Once again, 2 years per specific equipment. Something to keep in mind. School supplies, moving on to the next section. School supplies, that's literally everything from book bags to calculators to adhesive to planners, scissors, printer, ink. That's the other thing too. You can get a printer and the ink is covered every single month or whenever you have to purchase the ink. That is awesome, especially since we have a lot of curriculum, specifically for Naomi, that I have to print out. If you do something like Campfire curriculum, where there's a lot of pages to print out, totally covered. And you don't have to like try to cut corners. Oh, another thing that they have on here is lunch boxes, including bento boxes. Don't know what bento boxes are, but apparently that's a thing. But lunch boxes are on here. All right, sensory material, everything from balance balls. You know, even though your kids may not have the UA scholarship, you can get one of those balls that they can bounce on while doing work. Any kind of sensory, stretchy type material, bundles, lighting, manipulatives, swings, sensory table, all that kind of stuff. Of course, curriculum and curriculum material. We know that. I don't have to go through that. You can do homeschool co-ops. They're not homeschool co-ops, yes, homeschool co-ops actually, but home education programs that have classes that you can purchase a la carte and take a part of. A lot of them you can just simply find in the My Providers list, and you can do it that way. And so that's in there definitely. We are very much involved with some of these. They do have hybrid private schools with the PEP. Once again, I haven't done any of that, so I don't really know much about how that works. But the one that I was, actually when you get the form, I'll kind of show you. There's something that talks about tuitions and fees right here. There's a whole list, and then they talk about the hybrid. The stuff that I do is right here with the home education instructional program. It talks about that. If you want to be involved with one of those, and you find one, there's lists online, you just contact them and interview them. Ask them, do you accept the PEP or the UA scholarship? Are you a direct provider, or do I have to do the reimbursement? I've done both. You know, I've been a part of a home education program where I had to manually do the reimbursement myself, and I had to go out to the teacher that was teaching that lesson, get his credentials, which is, it is nerve-wracking to do, but you can totally do it. Most people that have credentials are more than willing to share those with you. And there is a list in, I think it's in the handbook. I think it's more in the handbook. Actually, it's also in here now that I'm looking at it. They do have a list of what they have to have, like a valid teacher certification, or they have to have degrees. Another thing that it does cover for those of you guys that do have PEP is those testing scores, because you have to test at the end of the year and the scores are covered, or the test score fees are covered. The same thing is true for SATs and the PSATs. Now, the one thing that I do, I am a choice navigator for Step Up for Students. It's actually very interesting, and I have a video about choice navigation because a lot of people think, oh, do I have to find a choice navigator? They try to stress that it's optional, but what a choice navigator actually does is for anybody who is entering into the program, or anybody who's seasoned in the program, it doesn't matter. You just need to find someone who's qualified to be a choice navigator to help kind of give you some pointers and guide you through this homeschool crazy world. Okay, and I sit down, I have one-on-one consultations. That's basically what it is a homeschool consultant is what it is. And we'll go through different curriculum. We'll talk about learning styles. If there's test scores, we'll look at test scores. If there's no test scores, yeah, we'll just talk. We talk about unique abilities. We talk about just trying to transition, the whole transition process. You know, sometimes it takes one hour, one segment. Sometimes it'll take multiple times. But the nice thing is that it is covered by the scholarship. The other thing that's really nice about some of us that are choice navigators is we are also parents that are working the scholarship on the other end. I know I'm in that kind of situation. I do PEP, I do UA, and I'm also choice navigator, and I do homeschool evaluations, and I teach it. So I have my hand and my feet in a lot of different areas, and I see what's going on from a lot of different angles, which is actually really nice, and it is something that I think is very unique about what I can share with you guys if you are looking for a choice navigator. But like I said, I'm a direct provider, and you can just go in there, and anybody who's a direct provider, you can go in there and do all the things. There is a list in here of prohibited items. I will say cellular phones and smartwatches are in there. So for PEP, I believe those things you can get with the UA. Housing for live animals, That's in there too. You can't buy a cage for your cat, or you can't build a chicken coop with the scholarship money. And of course, I did mention the idea of food grade. I found out the hard way. I didn't do much of a show and tell, but let me know if you have any specific things. I do have a lot of videos on here where I talk about curriculum, I talk about games. I actually do a lot of specific show and tells here and there. So check out those videos. I'll stick some links over here. And once again, if you guys have any questions, you can leave me a comment, or you could reach out to me via email. It's probably faster through email. It's taking me forever to get through these comments. I'm really trying, guys. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.